वेलकम स्टूडेंट्स. रयत शिक्षण संस्था राधाबाई काळे महिला महाविद्यालय अहमदनगर कापरे के. In this educational purpose video lecture for the class of SYPSC Physics, I am going to discuss the subject electronics, the paper second PHY 232. Here we are going to discuss the chapter on operational amplifier. The syllabus included consists of two parts. The first part is operational amplifier. In this case we are going to discuss the ideal and practical characteristics. Then also we'll consider the IC 741, which is also used in the practicals, and the important concept, that is virtual ground property and the applications of op-amp. In the second part of oscillators, we are discussing the concepts of negative and positive feedbacks, and when these oscillators are in working operation mode, then there is a certain criteria important, that is a Barkhausen criteria for an oscillator. So we consider the working and construction of the phase shift oscillator with reference to IC 723. So in this case, let us start with this op-amp. So amplifier is a circuit. Amplifier, that circuit discuss. Amplifier is an electronic circuit which increases the signal strength of the input signals, and the operational amplifiers are the amplifiers which are used doing some mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. In this case, these operation amplifiers are DC coupled amplifiers, mean they are first stage to second stage are directly coupled using a simple wire. The gain is very high. These are basically voltage amplifiers. We can use differential input, and the output is of course single ended output. This figure shows the symbol of operational amplifier. In this case, there is dual supply used. The positive supply is V plus, is connected to the plus VCC of the IC, that is pin number 7, and my negative supply is connected to pin number 4. Pin number 2 and pin number 3 are the two inputs that are called as a differential input. The inverting input is denoted by minus sign, and non-inverting input is denoted by plus sign. So output is taken from pin number 6. So in this case, the output is V out of the op-amp, given by equation VO, that is output voltage is equal to A OL, where A stands for gain and OL stands for open loop, in bracket V plus minus Vn. So this is the differential input, means we consider the difference between non-inverting input V plus and inverting input V minus. So the minus indicates the difference. Then we multiply this difference by the gain to get the output voltage. So this diagram indicates the pin diagram of the IC 741 that we are generally using in the laboratory for doing the experiments on op-amp. If you hold this op-amp in your hand, so that this notch is in top side, so this is called as top view. There is also one notch on this side. Near the notch, the pin is numbered as 1, and the remaining pins are counted in anti-clockwise direction as shown by the mouse pointer. So here, first, 2, 3rd, 4th, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 pin IC and dual line package form. Dual line means one line is reserved for 4 pins and another line is reserved for 4 pins. So this is also called as dual line package, and this is the symbol for this op-amp. Now pin number 8 is NC, means not connected. The positive supply is connected to pin number 7, while negative supply is connected to pin number 4, that is minus VCC supply. Then pin number 1 and pin number 5, these two pins are used for offset null of the operational amplifier. The negative input is called as inverting input, it's connected to pin number 2. positive sign denotes the non-inverting input. It is connected to pin number 3 of the IC. Then what we want to consider now, the basic thing is op-amp offset parameters. In this diagram, the output is taken at the arrowhead of this op-amp symbol, and there are two inputs. The non-inverting input denoted by plus symbol is connected through resistance Rs to the DC input V1, and the DC input V2 is connected to the resistance to the another terminal, that is negative terminal of the op-amp, that is inverting input. Let us assume that IB1 is gate current flowing through the first input of the op-amp, while IB2 is the base current flowing through the second op-amp. So in this diagram, input offset voltage we can define now. The voltage that we want to apply, so VIO, it is V for voltage, I input, O offset. Input offset voltage is difference between the two sources, VDC1 which is connected to non-inverting terminal minus VDC2 which is connected to inverting terminal. So this difference is the input offset voltage. So this input offset voltage is selected so that we get output 0. Then it is called as offset null voltage. When such voltage are connected in the diagram, then whatever current we are denoted as IB1 and IB2, we take difference between these two currents. Then this difference between the current is called as IIO. This I, capital I, stands for DC current, small I stands for input, and O stands for offset. So this is input offset current. So these features, there are two terminal input offset voltage, which is the voltage required to connect to the op-amp so that we get the 0 output. And in this condition, whatever the current flowing through the circuit, we denote by IB1 and IB2. We take difference between these currents, and then that current flowing through the input terminals of op-amp when output 0 is called as input offset current. Then these are the various things, the definitions related to the characteristics, the op-amp characteristics. So the first is input bias current. Input bias current is nothing but the average between the current flowing through the input when offset is null. That is, when output is 0, we are assuming that IB1 is current flowing through the first terminal and IB2 is current flowing through the second input terminal of op-amp. Then the input bias current is average, means sum of these two current divided by 2. Similarly, we can define input offset drift current. So this drift, the word represented with respect to change in time. So change in input offset current divided by change in temperature, then this is called as a drift. Similarly, change in the voltage with respect to change in temperature, this ratio is called as input offset voltage drift. Open loop gain, this is the fourth characteristics of op-amp. It is the ratio of output voltage to the differential input voltage. Generally, gain is the ratio of output divided by input. So output voltage and the input is the differential input voltage. So feedback is not collected, then it is called as open loop gain. If we connect feedback, then it is the gain is called as closed loop gain. Generally, gain no doubt is the ratio of output divided by input. So gain with feedback is called as a closed loop gain, while gain without feedback is called as open loop gain. Then the sixth characteristics of the op-amp is its input impedance. This is very important characteristics of the op-amp. So input impedance is the impedance between the two input terminals of the operational amplifier. The input is a complex voltage upon current as according to the Ohm's law, because Ohm's law tells that V is equal to IR. So resistance is the ratio of voltage and the current. Similarly, output impedance is the resistance shown by the output terminal looking inside the op-amp. So this resistance is at the output terminal of the operational amplifier. Then the eighth one is the common mode rejection ratio, which is shortly denoted as CMRR. The CMRR, that is common mode rejection ratio, is the ratio of the two gains, that is AD divided by ACM. AD stands for the gain differential. A means gain. Generally, the capital A is used to denote gain of the amplifier. The suffix D means differential gain, means two inputs are not same, they are different. And ACM means common mode gain. So common mode means both inputs are shorted together. So this ratio is called as common mode rejection ratio. Reject means remove, and removing ratio we can see. So common part we don't want, we want to consider in the op-amp only the differential part. So the requirement is op-amp is that it should remove the common signal, that is it should reject the common. So it is common mode rejection, while it should amplify the difference between the two amplifiers. So this CMRR is also one of the important characteristics of the op-amp. Similarly, when the supply changes, the gain of amplifier will change, which is not required. So the variation in supply should also be eliminated, and that variation is measured in terms of supply voltage rejection ratio. Mathematically, it is given as SVRR is equal to change in output voltage, that is delta VIO divided by change in voltage. So supply voltage we can say, this is supply, change in supply voltage. Similarly, the next characteristics of the op-amp is the slew rate. Slew rate is maximum rate of change of output voltage with time. So change in voltage with time, because when we change the input, the same input appears at the output. For that, some time is required. So how much time is required, that we can define in terms of slew rate, and denoted by S, which is change in output voltage and the time required to change this output. So delta dV0 divided by dt at maximum supply voltage. Now it is specified by the op-amp in unity gain condition, that is gain of the amplifier should be 1. With respect to these characteristics, we can compare ideal op-amp with practical op-amp. So the first column shows the characteristics, that is name of the properties. The second for ideal op-amp, and third one is practical, that is we are using in our electronic circuits. So if we consider the open loop gain, open bandwidth gain, CMRR, input resistance, all these are infinite in case of ideal amplifier. Open loop gain, that is AOL. OL means open loop gain, and bandwidth means it can amplify all frequency components starting from 0 to infinity. This is called as infinite bandwidth. CMRR means which rejects the common part and amplifies only the difference between the two input signal. The resistance shown by the two input terminals of the op-amp we call as input resistance. This is also infinite. Now why this should be infinite? Because this will not take more current. The op-amp will not take more current, so that will avoid the overloading. Similarly, to avoid the overloading, output resistance of the op-amp should be 0. Similarly, input bias current, that bias current flowing through the input terminal should be 0, means no current is flowing through the input terminal of the op-amp. So this is very important. Current do not flow through inputs of the op-amp, means op-amp will not take any current. Offset voltage should be 0. Offset voltage means what? Offset means we want 0 output, but generally to make the 0 output we need to connect some input. So that is offset voltage. So that offset voltage should be 0. Input offset current, again when output is 0, current through the input terminals of op-amp should be 0. Slew rate should be infinite, means whatever changes we are applying to the input, that should be passed to the output without lapse of the time. And the drift means when temperature changes, there is no change in the output parameters of the op-amp, so that is called as 0 temperature. So similarly, we can consider the characteristics of op-amp. For ideal characteristics, infinite quantities will be very high but not infinite. For example, if we consider open loop gain infinite for ideal amplifier, then it is not infinite but very high, means greater than 10,000. So there is limitation how much large it is, means how much large, means there is the limit. So practical limit is value is very high but not infinite. Similarly, the values are low but not zero. For example, output resistance for ideal characteristics we are assuming to be zero, but practically zero resistance is not possible. Some small value is there, generally less than 100 ohm, but that is the low but not zero. So whatever the characteristic zero for ideal op-amp will have low value in practical op-amp, means this is the limiting case to the zero. And the quantities which are infinite for ideal op-amp are very high but not infinite, means this is limit of the infinity. So here figure shows the standard op-amp and we can compare with the ideal op-amp. Now as far in this chart, as we have seen, the input resistance is infinite. So here we haven't shown any resistance between the inverting and non-inverting terminal of the ideal op-amp, while this input resistance is shown in the practical op-amp. Similarly, if we consider the output resistance as 0, this output resistance is 0 for the infinite. So in this symbol, output resistance is not shown in the diagram, only the connection is shown, while in the practical case the output resistance is low. So here Z out is the resistance shown in series with output terminal of the standard, that is practical op-amp. So this is all about the characteristics. Okay, now here we are going to consider two important rules which are used for the ideal op-amps. These are very important, hence they are called as the golden rules, because valuable rules are there in the theory of op-amp. So the first rule, no current flow into the op-amp input terminals. As we have considered in the characteristics, the requirement is that input resistance is infinite. Resistance is infinite means current should be 0. So this is the result, that is the first golden rule. As an effect of infinite input resistance, current will not flow. Number 2, no voltage difference between the op-amp input terminals. Means what? The two input terminals, which are the two input terminals? One is the inverting and another is non-inverting terminal. So at this point, as shown in the diagram, the motion of the cursor shows which 2 points we are considering, the point V minus and V plus. So these are the 2 points which should be at the same voltage, that is there should be no voltage difference. So these are very valuable laws, hence called as golden laws. Means these laws are with the help of this law only we can explain the action or working of the operational amplifier circuits. And the next most important property of the op-amp is the virtual ground property. To explain this virtual ground property, we have to consider the circuit diagram as shown here. In this case, the positive terminal, that is non-inverting input, is grounded, while input V in is connected through resistance R in to the inverting terminal, and there is a feedback resistance connected between the output terminal and inverting terminal. So the important points, the first thing, non-inverting terminal is connected to the ground, input V in is connected to the series resistance R in to inverting terminal, and feedback RF is connected between the inverting and the output terminal. So this is the circuit to explain the virtual ground property. So in this case, no voltage difference between the two amplifiers indicates that the voltage at V plus terminal is 0 because it is connected to ground, and the voltage at this point should also be 0. Why? because there should be no difference, means V plus should be equal to V minus. That this is our requirement from the second golden rule. This indicates that the both voltages are equal, but practically this positive terminal is connected to ground. Even though this inverting terminal is not connected ground, this voltage is 0 because these two voltages should be equal as from the second rule of the golden rule. Second golden rule, these two voltages should be same. This is practically 0 because it is connected to ground. This is 0 according to the second rule. Hence, this is 0 means this is, even though not connected practically ground, it acts as connected to practically ground, so it is called as a virtual ground. Now, the op-amp is used in two different ways. That is, first is inverting op-amp and the second is non-inverting op-amp. First, let us consider about the circuit diagram. In inverting op-amp, input is connected to inverting terminal while non-inverting terminal is grounded. So, in inverting op-amp, V-in is connected to inverting input, hence called as inverting. Input is connected to inverting input through the resistance Rin, and non-inverting terminal is grounded. In the second case, in non-inverting case, the inverting is grounded and input is connected to the non-inverting terminal. So here in this first case, inverting op-amp, input is connected to inverting terminal, while in non-inverting op-amp, input is connected to non-inverting terminal. In both cases, means oftenly the feedback resistance RF is connected between inverting and output, as shown here. Feedback resistance RF is connected between this output and input, while the series resistance is connected to inverting terminal. In inverting op-amp, input is connected to the resistance, but in non-inverting case, this resistance is grounded. Now in this case, the most important relation from this chapter is the gain of inverting op-amp is A is equal to output upon input, and it is nothing but the ratio of feedback resistance upon Rin. So this negative sign also is important because this indicates that is inverting. Negative means opposite, opposite means inverting. So gain of the inverting op-amp is negative, and it is the ratio of feedback resistance to the input resistance. It doesn't depend on the voltages, but that depends on the resistance that we are selecting. Now in general, the input resistance is feedback resistance. Why? Because whatever the current flowing through resistance will not flow inside the op-amp as it is required from this golden rule. So what this first golden rule indicates, that no current flow into the input terminal of the op-amp. So whatever this current flowing will not go here because it is not allowed to pass through op-amp. So it will flow, whatever the current will flow through the feedback resistance. In other way we can say input current is equal to IF, as I have written here. I in, that is input current, is equal to IF, that is the feedback current. And we know that the gain is defined as output upon input. So we can write here V in is the voltage to the one terminal of the Rin resistance, means left side voltage of Rin is V in, minus right side voltage. Right side voltage is 0. So divided by the value of resistance is Rin. This is the simply Ohm's law. And here, if we consider the resistance Rf, for this resistance Rf, left voltage is 0 from the virtual ground property, so 0, minus right side voltage is V out, so 0 minus V out upon the value of resistance is Rf. So in this case, if we readjust the equation, we will get gain is equal to output upon input. Similarly, we can consider the non-inverting input. In this case, input is directly given to non-inverting terminal. Feedback is connected between inverting and the output as same as to the inverting op-amp, and it is grounded resistance Rin. Now in this case the gain is 1 plus Rf upon R in. The gain is same like this, but here for non-inverting the sign is become plus and we have to add 1. So this we can derive by simply considering whatever the voltage at positive terminal Vp of the op amp is equal to the V in, that is applied voltage. Now this V in right hand side will write as it is, but to write this voltage we can consider current flowing through this resistance. So the current is voltage upon total resistance. So voltage is V out divided by total resistance is R1 Rin plus Rf. So V out divided by Rin plus Rf. So this represent the current, and current multiplied by the value of resistance will get the input voltage. In this way gain of inverting op amp is ratio of feedback minus ratio of feedback resistance upon input resistance, while gain of non-inverting op amp is 1 plus feedback resistance upon input resistance. So this is how we can connect the op amp in two different modes. Now we will consider one of the most important application of the op amp as an adder. So this adder means is the circuit which can add, so that is called as adder. Now the circuit diagram here, this is used in non-inverting mode. Non-inverting mode means what? This is used in it is used in inverting mode, means what? Input is connected to inverting terminal while non-inverting terminal is grounded. As usual, feedback is connected between inverting terminal and output. So always output is connected through feedback resistance to the input, and that input is of inverting type. Now the input is the combination of three voltages. Voltage V1 is connected through resistance R2, V2 is connected through resistance R2, V3 is connected through resistance R3. Let us assume that I1, I2, I3 are the currents flowing through this. Due to these three voltage sources, all these currents flow total as I towards the point A. But this current, the same current will flow through the feedback element, because current is not allowed to flow through the op amp as given by the golden rule. So in this case point A is called as summing point, means at this point the component currents are added, that is I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Hence it is called as a summing point, means sum of all currents is taking at this point A. Then the second thing, the voltage at point A is equal to voltage at point B. B is practically connected to 0, and according to this equation VA is also 0, so that is the virtual ground property as we have seen before. Now whatever the input current I is same as feedback current, because current is not allowed to flow through the op amp input terminals as per the golden rule. So the current I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Now using the Ohm's law, current is given by the ratio of voltage upon resistance. So I1 is the current through resistance R1 due to the voltage V1, so we can write I1 as V1 upon R1. Current I2 is current through R2 due to the voltage V2, so it is given by V2 by R2. Similarly, current I3 is flowing through the resistance R3, so we can write it as ratio of V3 upon R3. So this is the current flowing through this summing point, that is point A. Now to write the feedback current through the feedback resistance, we call it, denote as IF. So this is equal to the voltage at point left side of the resistance RF is VA minus voltage to the right side is the VO. So this difference in voltage is drop across the resistance RF divided by current flowing through divided by the voltage divided by the resistance will give us the current IF. Now in this case the VA is 0 because of the virtual ground property, so feedback current is minus V upon RF. Now if we equate these two equations, we will get output as shown by this expression. If all these resistances are selected equal value, then we get output is equal to minus the sum of three input voltage. This is what is the adder circuit. Then the second application of op-amp is a subtractor, that is difference amplifier. Now here generally as usual the feedback resistance is connected between output of op-amp and inverting terminal. Non-inverting terminal is grounded through resistance R3. Now voltage V1 is connected through resistance R1 to inverting terminal, while voltage V2 is connected through resistance R2 to non-inverting terminal, and R3 resistance is grounded from non-inverting terminal, while RF resistance is connected to the output, that is feedback resistance, from the inverting terminal. Now from the gain we can write the expression for non-inverting op-amp. The voltage for this inverting configuration, because of inverting configuration we put minus sign, and it is the ratio of feedback resistance upon input resistance. Feedback is output in RF and input is R1. Similarly, if we consider this lower part which is the non-inverting, then due to this non-inverting part the gain is 1 plus feedback resistance RF upon input resistance R1. So in this way, if we substitute the values here, then we get, and if we take the simplified it, we get this type of output at the Vout terminal of the op-amp. And if we select all resistances are of equal value, they will get cancelled and naturally will get output as V2 minus V1. So output is subtraction of input, hence it is called as subtraction or difference amplifier. So thank you. With this we'll stop here.